In a moment from now, I'm going to take you live and across exclusively to Virginia in the United States. Joining us from there will be Arif Jamal. He's a well-known Pakistani author, a journalist for more than 20 years. And I first want to give our viewers a sense of who the man is, who they're about to meet, because he's got some very, very sensational and damning points to make. Let's just take you through a brief biodata of Pakistani author, journalist Arif Jamal. He's currently based in the United States. He's an expert on global jihad. He began his career in 1986. He's contributed to the New York Times. He's worked in a cross-section of Pakistani media. He's written more than 200 investigative articles on Islamist politics in Pakistan, jihad in Kashmir, and the Pakistani army. His first book was Shadow War. It analyzed Pakistan's operations in Kashmir. He's also written a book on the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Hafiz Saeed. This book is called The Call for Transitional Jihad, which exposed the connections between the ISI and the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Let's now go across live and exclusive to Virginia in the United States. Joining us from there is Arif Jamal, Pakistani author, journalist, commentator. Mr. Jamal, welcome to India today. And I want to begin by asking you about Dawood Ibrahim's presence in Pakistan. How is it that he's been able to survive for so long in Pakistan without the state coming down on him?
That is very simple. Pakistani support to Dawood Ibrahim and his group is actually part of Pakistan's strategy to bleed India. And whoever is ready to act against the Indian state, Pakistan would support him or his group. So I see it as part of a bigger strategy. It is not just Dawood Ibrahim or his group Pakistan is supporting.
From what we've been able to gather, Mr. Jamal, Dawood Ibrahim tends to keep a low profile. He rarely mingles with journalists. You're one of the few people who actually got to meet the underworld Don. Tell our viewers about where and how this interaction took place.
Well, Dawood Ibrahim certainly not in the Pakistani media, but a lot of Pakistanis have met him, and he have been leading a very, very free life in Karachi particularly. In Karachi, it's very easy to track him, even if you don't have his address. I did not have his address in Karachi, and still I got to him. I set up the appointment with a common friend, and I wanted to interview him. He did meet him. He didn't really get interviewed on any issue, but I could see he was there, how he lives his life. In Karachi, a lot of people know him personally, and he is doing a lot of business in property business in Karachi. Most Karachi property dealers can tell you where he lives, and the same is true in Islamabad. One Islamabad property dealer told me once he was almost one of the top property owners in Pakistan now.
Can you tell me, Arif, which year did this meeting that you're talking about take place in? I'm told that Dawood Ibrahim has several houses in Pakistan. Where specifically in Karachi did your meeting take place?
Well, I met him in Karachi. I would not go beyond that. And it was, okay, the neighborhood is called Defense, Karachi. And I don't know if he still lives there. Probably he doesn't live there anymore because in recent years, I have heard that a lot of people have been moving from one place to the other, people like him. So if I give you an address, it may prove wrong. And I don't know where exactly he is now. But I moved out of Pakistan in 2007, and I have not tracked his addresses. But in 2007, Anis Ibrahim was my neighbor in Lahore. He was living a couple of streets across my house in Lahore Defense.
You're saying Anis Ibrahim was your neighbor in Lahore. I want to ask you more about Anis, but I want to focus just for a moment on Dawood Ibrahim. What kind of security paraphernalia did you see around him? How difficult was it for you to be able to set up these meetings with Dawood?
It was very easy if he is ready to meet you, because then he tells his security people that someone is coming and he should be allowed inside. It was very easy for me on both occasions to go to him. They knew I was coming, and there was no problem.
Now, you're saying that Dawood is well known in Karachi, several people are acquainted to him, and yet you are the first person, Arif, in many years who's actually come out and said that, yes, I met with Dawood Ibrahim. Why is this so rare? If he's as well known around town as he is, why are others so scared of coming out and calling their government's bluff and saying that, yes, we've met with Dawood Ibrahim, he stays in Clifton, Karachi?
I am not the first Pakistani who is saying this. There are many Pakistanis who have written on this. I can't recall exactly the dates, but I think there was some pieces in the news or the news line. And there is a book, again, I am forgetting the name, but I think if you Google, you can find it. The author of that book is a Pakistani, and he had interviewed him. There have been a few very good investigative articles in Pakistani press about his activities. So I'm not really the first. I think I can recall 3-4 other names now.
Okay.
If you Google, you will find all those articles, and they were very original articles.
Arif, how often did you meet Dawood Ibrahim? How long did these meetings last? And can you give our viewers a sense of the conversation that you had with Dawood and what Dawood told you?
Well, I met him a couple of times. Once it was a brief meeting, and once it was a little long chit chat. We talked about everything, but it was. But I was made to promise that it will not be made public.
I don't know if you know, but recently, just a couple of days ago, the Indian government put out a new image of Dawood Ibrahim. It's the latest picture of Dawood Ibrahim. Did the person you meet look like the man on our screen, the man who's been in the media recently? Did he go through any kind of cosmetic surgery? Does his face look the same as it did when he used to sit and watch matches in the cricket box at Sharjah?
Well, I think I could see that no facial surgery had been done. Now, I'm not an expert, but I had read this, and I had heard some rumors about this, and I did probe it with my eyes. No, to my naked eyes, I couldn't guess anything. But he looked a little older and worn out when I met him.
Older and worn out, but no cosmetic surgery that you could tell. You know, what kind of a house did he live in? How many people were there? Did you get to meet any of his family members? And also, was there anyone else with you when you went and met Dawood?
No, I didn't meet any of his family members, and there were quite a few servants, and there were a lot of security guards, not only around the house but also in the neighborhood.
Describe to us the kind of security cover you saw around Dawood. Did you see people from the military? Was there private security? Was the ISI involved in any way in protecting him?
Well, I didn't check who they were, but they looked very alert and well trained in their job. You see, it wouldn't be possible for Dawood Ibrahim or any of his gang members to survive in Pakistan without the support and permission of the Pakistan Army.
That's absolutely true. I agree with you 100%. He can't survive for an hour in Pakistan without the active support of the Pakistani army. Now, what's your view on how India should deal with this situation? India insists Dawood is in Pakistan. Pakistan denies this outright. You're saying you yourself have met with Dawood in Karachi. So how do you suggest India try and take this matter forward?
Well, I will not support any Pakistan's policy of using jihad as an instrument of its defense policy. Certainly, Dawood Ibrahim has nothing to do with Pakistan, should have nothing to do with Pakistan-India relations, and he should be sent to his own country. But again, I will say that I'm not the only one. And when I met Dawood Ibrahim, I'm sure his military people were aware of that, because otherwise I don't think it could happen. And I think the same was true when other journalists went to interview him. I think Pakistan officially denies the fact that Ibrahim is in Pakistan, but at the same time, they would like the world to know that he is in Pakistan. I think it's a very, very well articulated strategy. I think nobody could meet him without the military knowing it.
You also said that Anis Ibrahim, Dawood's brother, was your neighbor in Lahore. He's also on India's list of most wanted. Tell us about your interactions with Anis Ibrahim, and did he just stay across the street from you?
He was staying in Defense Housing Society in Lahore, and I first came to learn about his presence there when I was having an evening walk. I was stopped by certain people to enter a certain street there, and then as a reporter I became curious and wanted to know who was living there, and it wasn't very difficult to find out who it was. So through a journalist friend, I sent a request to meet him, and again he met me socially. And the interesting thing about him, I remember, is that he was wearing a lot of diamond rings on his fingers. So that was something I noticed immediately. Well, he didn't. Of course, these people don't disclose anything that is not good for them, and he didn't. But it was just a social meeting.
These are very, very startling revelations. You're saying that Anis Ibrahim used to wear diamond rings. You're explaining your meeting with him. You're also talking about how these meetings were facilitated by the ISI and how it's impossible to meet with Dawood Ibrahim without the Pakistani army and the ISI actually permitting for that meeting to take place, and how all interactions are actually routed from them. Arif Jamal, it's been a delight to have you with us from Virginia. This morning for you, an evening for us. Everyone we've had on our broadcast who's ever joined us from Pakistan and to whom I've asked this question, they've all denied outright that Dawood Ibrahim was present on Pakistani soil. You're the first Pakistani we've spoken to who admits that Dawood not only lives on Pakistani soil but also says that you yourself went and met him, and you also met with Anis Ibrahim. More power to you. Thank you very much, Arif Jamal, for joining us on the newsroom. Arif Jamal is a New York Times contributor. He's a reputed author. He's written more than 2 books. And he's also been with the New York University, where he was at one of their most prestigious think tanks, writing on global jihad and South Asia. This is India Today National Exclusive, and you've seen it first here on the Newsroom.